And hello and welcome to our midweek devotion today, August 10th, 2021. It is a hot day. I kept joking with Emily. I always do a weather report. It's a hot day, but it is gorgeous. As we continue to dive into in our book here, what is truth? Are these stories in the Bible, are they true? Does this matter or not in terms of our faith? But now we get into a really interesting question. Why does the Bible tell different versions of the same stories? So, as I've always said here, we learn together. So I haven't looked at this ahead. What if everyone told the same story? Car accidents happen every day. Imagine an officer arriving at the scene of an accident only to hear everyone tell the exact same story in the exact same way. This would be remarkable, and the officer would almost certainly suspect that these witnesses talk to each other to get their stories straight. Each person has a different perspective. The driver of one car slammed on his brakes while the other driver spilled coffee and swerved. Each says the other came out of nowhere. A nearby pedestrian watched the whole incident, anticipating the accident. And the tire tracks on the road tell the officer that one driver was speeding. So what, then, is the truth? Each person's story represents a different interpretation based on a particular vantage point. The police officer talks with each witness individually in an attempt to construct an accurate picture of what actually happened. And the true story begins to take shape, unless the stories don't mesh at all. So here we have an activity. I'm going to try and do this. Find the camera. So here we have a picture of a field. You can kind of see that. But if not, just imagine a field. Maybe just look out your window or take a moment and just kind of look at a bit of scenery and think about this. I want you to describe the field from the perspective of a farmer, a scientist, a general, and a child. I want you to look at that, and then, how about this? See, we learn together. You take that view, whatever you choose. Maybe it's this little picture, which is kind of hard to see. But try to look at it from different perspectives of how someone might describe that. What do they see? And that can tell a little bit about yourself, I think. And then you could take all those and try to combine all the perspectives and do a complete description of the field. And then, if you want, you can write a short description. I've actually done something like this before, where I try and imagine things from different perspectives. In fact, a lot of times, believe it or not, I do this with a Bible text when I'm trying to put together a sermon or trying to maybe see a bigger picture of what a text is saying. There's always one thing we learned in seminary, and actually before that, but a lot of times maybe we didn't apply it to the Bible and the stories in there, is there could be different interpretations of these things, and there could be different things going on in a text. It's not always exactly what's on the surface. I think I've preached about that sometimes too. But see, it's that idea of realizing that the story can be told different, and that can even apply when it comes to the Bible. So, wouldn't you tell someone, we know this story, hopefully, Luke 9:28 through 36 talks of Jesus' transfiguration. When the apostles Peter, John, and James witnessed Jesus in the company of Elijah and Moses. 3 of the 4 gospel texts tell his story, and they're all remarkably similar in detail. So similar that one might wonder if they were written together. Essentially, these apostles see Jesus' clothes become dazzling white. They see him with Moses and Elijah, and God speaks to them to identify Jesus as the Son of God. But at the end, there's a huge question. Why don't the apostles tell anyone? It all seems a little bit strange. One would suspect that if Jesus made himself known, word would spread quickly. Maybe not. Imagine overhearing someone at the coffee shop telling his buddies that he had just seen Jesus transfigured and heard the voice of God. The buddies would think, well, he's crazy. And that's before he shares the news about seeing Elijah and Moses. It was probably hard to believe, even for those who were there. They may not have believed their eyes and ears, thinking instead that they were dreaming. Quite simply, they may have lacked faith in what they saw. This may be why the apostles didn't say anything. So that's always been my question. Some things to take with you. We'll talk more about this next week. But why didn't they say anything? I might be remembering incorrectly, but I think Jesus also says, don't tell anybody what you saw. But still, you see something like that, you're going to want to say something. But why didn't they? Why didn't they say anything? Did the apostles fall? No. Did the apostles fail in their calling to spread the good news? See, that's it too. If Jesus says don't say anything and then they don't, wouldn't Jesus know that they're going to say something anyway? I don't know. Were you to have, this is worded so funny. If you were to have this experience, whom would you tell? What do you think this person would advise you to do? And would you do it? So there you go. If you had this experience, would you tell? Would you not tell? Why didn't they tell? And is this a failing in spreading the good news? I have my own thoughts and everything there because I think about it every time the gospel text comes up every year. I'm like, ugh, why didn't they tell someone or any of that? Anyway, let's close in prayer. Good and gracious God, continue to be with us as our days unfold. Bless us as we seek to spread your good news, to live your good news. All this in your name. Amen. Until next week.